You can forget about it. You ain't got a chance. You ain't got a Ice Cube's chance in hell of pleasing 1,000 women. Go ahead and read.
Solomon introduced the worship of Chemosh into Jerusalem to please a foreign wife, though thereby he displeased his God. In 1 Kings chapter 11, verses 7 and 33. Josiah defiled this high place of Chemosh in 2 Kings, 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 13, putting an end to its use as a place of worship.
That's what the servant of God is supposed to do. Josiah destroyed it. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it. But we just read that same chapter that it referred to. We didn't read all of it. But this is what Solomon did. He introduced this stuff to Israel. But now let's see what all this stuff is about. Let's read one of these satanic calendars. Yeah, you can read that one first. This is where I get it from.
What's this? This right here?
Yeah.
West Dancing. List of satanic holidays.
So that's on the website down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. West Dancing. WordPress.com.
WordPress.com. So that means you can go and get it yourself. But we're gonna read some of these days and see what they're about. Just read the ones I got highlighted.
January 1st, New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Go ahead.
January 7th, St. Winterball Day.
But hold on. Read across. So you can tell them what it's about.
January 1st, New Year's Day. Usage, Druid Feast Day. Age 15 to 33. January 7th, St. Winterball Day. Type, blood. Usage, animal and or human sacrifice.
So these days, they are about sacrifice. That's why they wear this red. Because these days are about blood. Blood sacrifices. Human sacrifices. Go ahead.
Animal and or human sacrifice and dismemberment.
And dismemberment. That's why you can't find the children. They've been dismembered. Go ahead, brother.
Age, male if human.
What's the age?
Male if human. It just said that after age.
Okay, if human, it's a male. Go ahead.
Good Friday.
Good Friday. This is the day, it got to be about God. It's good. It's the day that supposedly Jesus got killed, right? That was a good thing, right? You're going to torture somebody and murder them, and they call it Good Friday. But go ahead and read, brother.
Good Friday. Day of Passion, death of Christ.
Death of the Messiah. Go ahead.
Type, blood. Usage, human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice.
Made only, adult. Male only. Male only, adult.
Male only, adult. And this is why they say he died on Good Friday. Because that's the day that they do all they male adult sacrificing. But the Christian community, they don't believe that, but it's right there in writing. I didn't write it. Go to what's it, WordPress? Go argue with them. What's the next one?
Celebration. Easter Eve Day.
Easter Eve Day. Whatever that is.
Type, blood. Usage, human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice. This is what they do on Easter now. Human sacrifice. See, we always believe that the word Easter in the Bible is a misprint. But the Idumeans and the Phoenicians and all those people that was in the land at that time, they celebrated Easter. They worshiped Ashtoreth. That's the goddess of fertility, what this day is talking about. She requires a human sacrifice. What's the rest of it?
Age, male or female, adult.
Adult. So adults come up missing too, don't they? And you never. Jacob Wetterling been gone for a long time. I'm sorry, Miss Wetterling, but it ain't right, and it ain't funny, but this is what's up. Go ahead, brother. What's next?
All Hallows Eve and Halloween night.
So This a 2-day thing or a 3-day thing. Go ahead.
October 30th, 31st, All Hallows Eve and Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
Blood and sexual.
What? That's why they got to get the kids in it.
Yeah, that's the type. Blood and sexual.
Blood and sexual. So that means that it's about killing somebody. It's about having orgies. That's what it's about. This is Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else to say about it?
The usage. Sexual climax, association with the demons, animal, and or human sacrifice.
Oh my goodness. They just go buck wild on that day. But it's the 30th and the 31st, right? But there's another day to go along with it. Go ahead and finish that.
Age. Any age, male or female, and or animal.
That thing is deep. It's deeper than what we read. What's the next day?
Celebration. November 1st. Satanist High. Holy day related to Halloween.
Start that over. It's Satan's what?
Satan's High.
Satan's high. That's his high day. That's the day he get high off the blood of the humans. But anyway, go ahead.
Type. Blood. Usage. Human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice.
Age. Any age, male or female.
Any age, male or female, but a human sacrifice. This is just the cusp of it. I'm not going in depth into it, but this is just a cusp of it. The rest of it you can find it on your own, and you might not like what you read, but at least you'll be aware. Go ahead, brother.
Next one.
The next one?
Celebration. December 24th.
December 24th, or what we call the death of the Messiah Eve. That's what Christmas means, right? Death of the Messiah. Death of the Messiah Eve. That's the night before we kill the Messiah. Go ahead.
Demon revels. Usage. High grand climax.
High grand climax. This is when it all culminates.
Age. Any age, male or female, human and or animal.
So it's another day that you sacrifice to your God. Human sacrifices. Go ahead.
That's also Christmas Eve. And type. Blood. Usage. Receive body parts as Christmas gifts.
Oh, this started to make me sick now.
Age. Infant male.
Infant male? What? So that's why that's why the Idumean Herod, who the Romans placed as king of Israel, while he was looking for Jesus to kill him when he was first born, because he needed that infant sacrifice. And why not get the one that was threatening his job? But he had the kids, after a while, since they couldn't find him, he had all the kids killed. That was 2 years old and younger. All of them. Because this is what the Idumeans did in the worship of their God, that god of Easter, or the goddess of fertility, or Ashtoreth. This is what they did. Go ahead.
That's it.
That was it?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Yeah, that was it. Christmas, the last one.
Okay. So that's one satanic calendar. I didn't write it. I'm not a Satanist. WordPress.com. Go find it. Let's go into 1 Kings, the 14th chapter. 1 Kings chapter 14. We're going to find out why it is that we can't stay out of trouble with God. We should know by now, but we're going to find out why it is. 1 Kings 14, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. 1 Kings 14 and 1. Go ahead, brother.
At that time, Abiah, the son of Jeroboam, fell sick, and Jeroboam said to his wife, Arise, I pray thee, and disguise thyself, that thou be not known to be the wife of Jeroboam, and get thee to Shiloh. Behold, there is a hire the prophet, which told me that I should be king over this people. And take with thee 10 loaves and cracknels, and the cruse of honey, and go to him, and he shall tell thee what shall become of the child.
So now his son's sick, and he said, look, go to the prophet who told me that I was going to be made king over the families of God. Go and find out what's going to happen to my child. Go ahead and read, brother.
And Jeroboam's wife did so, and arose, and went to Shiloh, and came to the house of Ahiah. But Ahiah could not see, for his eyes were set by reason of his age.
Now remember, she disguised herself anyway. But he couldn't see because he was so old, his eyes was getting dim. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto Ahiah, Behold, the wife of Jeroboam cometh to ask a thing of thee for her son, for he is sick. Thus and thus shalt thou say unto her, for it shall be, when she cometh in, that she shall feign herself to be another woman.
Said feign means she's just going to disguise herself to be somebody else. So this is what I want you to tell her. Go ahead.
And it was so, when Ahiah heard the sound of her feet, as she came in at the door, that he said, Come in, thou wife of Jeroboam. Why feignest thou thyself to be another? For I am sent to thee with heavy tidings.
Said, look, I'm sent to you with heavy tidings, so your disguise not going to help you. Go ahead and read.
Go, tell Jeroboam, thus saith the Lord, God of Israel, for as much as I exalted thee from among the people and made thee prince over my people Israel.
He said, look, for as much as I have exalted thee, because it's the Lord who exalts you, not you yourself. He said, for as much as I have exalted you and made you the prince over my people. Go ahead.
And rent the kingdom away from the house of David and gave it thee, and yet thou hast not been as my servant David, who kept my commandments and who followed me with all his heart to do that only which was right in mine eyes.
To do that which was only right in the eyes of God. Not in his own eyes, but in the eyes of God. But Jeroboam didn't do that. He didn't follow after David. He got jealous because the Levites went back. He said, if the Levites go back, everybody going to go back. So what he started to do was make his own priesthood. And whoever he wanted to be the high priest, that's who was the high priest. God wasn't pleased with that. God has a protocol, and whatever God set in order, that's the way it's supposed to be, because the Levitical priesthood is a representation of the true priesthood. So Jeroboam got out of the way with God. But go ahead and read, brother. What verse we at?
9. But hast done evil above all that were before thee, for thou hast gone and made thee other gods and molten images to provoke me to anger.
That provokes the Lord to anger. Just like they did when he brought them out of Egypt into the wilderness. They provoked God to anger. He told Moses, look, you got the way. I'm going to kill all of them. But Moses interceded for it. You can read it on your own, but Moses interceded. Go ahead and read.
And hast cast me behind thy back.
This is what you do when you serve another God. You cast the true and living God behind your back for this funky tree that can't cut out the ground that's going to die. It's already dead once you cut it down, but I mean, it's going to wither too.
Teach.
Go ahead, brother.
Therefore, behold, I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam him that pisseth against the wall.
That's all the males. He's going to cut off all the males. Go ahead.
And him that is shut up and left in Israel, and will take away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam, as a man taketh away dung, till it be all gone.
Say, look, because when it comes to dung, you remove it till it's all gone, right? The smell don't even linger. He said, that's how I'm going to do the house of Jeroboam. They're not going to even smell the carcasses of your children. I'm going to remove you totally. Y'all not going to even have graves. Go ahead.
11. Him that dieth of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat. And him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat.
So you're not going to have no grave then if you get ate up by the animals. Go ahead.
For the Lord hath spoken it. Arise thou, therefore, get thee to thine own house, and when thy feet enter into the city, the child shall die. And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave.
So that's the only child that you got that's going to have a grave. It's a reason for that, though. Go ahead.
Because in him there is found some good thing toward the Lord God of Israel.
He said, because in that child, that's the only child you got that I find some good in towards the Lord God of Israel. So he can have a grave. But the rest of y'all, what verse?
Middle of 13, end of 13.
Go ahead.
some good thing toward the Lord God of Israel in the house of Jeroboam. Moreover, the Lord shall raise him up a king over Israel, who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam that day. But what? Even now.
But even now, he already there, Jehu. But that's another lesson. Go ahead.
For the Lord shall smite Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land.
Out of this good land. Because the land of Israel was supposed to be like the Garden of Eden again. He said, I'm going to root up Israel out of this good land. And if you root something up, that means you take it up by the roots. There ain't nothing left of it. There ain't nothing left of the children of Jacob in Israel as it was. They're over there not still being ruled over because they decided to go back over there, being ruled over by their enemies. Go ahead and read.
Which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their groves provoking the Lord to anger.
Because you have served these pagan gods. That's what groves are. They just a whole bunch of pagan gods and a whole bunch of pagan temples. He said, because of this, I'm going to scatter you among the nations. That's why Israel is everywhere you go. Even in Russia. Mostly in prison in Russia, but even in Russia. Even in India. Even in China. Even in Korea. They're everywhere under the same conditions because of idolatry, and they won't stop it. They will not stop. If you go out this building right now and walk down to this corner right here, you ain't going to see no place that ain't got this foolishness on the building. If you do, it's like a cottage in the field of cucumbers. Cucumbers just grow all over it and cover it up. You ain't even better notice it. Where we at?
16.
Go ahead.
And he shall give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who did sin, and who made Israel to sin.
That's good. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, the 32nd chapter. Don't worry, I ain't going to cut nothing out. Because it ain't my fault we got started late. Jeremiah 32. But because of sin, the Lord hath rooted up Israel out of the land. And because of sin, he hath scattered them among the nations. And because of sin, he has removed all your kings. And because of sin, he hath forgotten your children. You know, your children got to be forgotten. They're just getting shot down in the street and nobody had to pay for it. They have been forgotten. Jeremiah 32 and 26. Jeremiah 32 and 26. Go ahead and read.
Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah, saying, Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?
He said, look, I'm the God of all flesh. Not just the God of Israel, as some of our brothers may have you think, but he is the God of all flesh. He said, is anything too hard for me? I can do what I want to do and can't nobody stop me. Go ahead, brother.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the Chaldeans, and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall take it.
He said, look, I'm going to give this to the Chaldeans, and to Nebuchadnezzar. He going to take it. I'm going to do this to you. Go ahead.
And the Chaldeans that fight against this city, shall come and set fire on this city, and burn it with the houses upon whose roofs they have offered incense unto Baal, and poured out drink offerings unto other gods to provoke me to anger.
So when you do this stuff, you provoke God to anger. You have poured out drink offerings to Baal. You have had your Christmas dinner and served this tree, and you think God cool with that? You think he cool with that? And then you say, well, you know, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I'm going to go over to my family house, and I'm going to eat Christmas dinner with them. Wait a minute now. You just said you don't celebrate Christmas, but you're going to eat the food of the feast that they made to worship their God with? Well, then if you're doing that, and we already read that if you know about it and you don't say nothing, you're just as guilty. But you taking part in the feast to a pagan god. But you don't serve that pagan god. That pagan god don't care. Go on and eat the food. Because you belong to me. Whoever feeds you, that's who you belong to. That's why most of our houses, most of our families are ruled over by a woman, because she belongs to that man that give her the money. So when she get that welfare check or whatever kind of check she get from the government, she gonna serve the government. If you try to come in there with some foolishness, she goes like, hey, I'll call the Romans on you. And then you less than what you're supposed to be. What we at, man?
30.
30?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only done evil before me from their youth. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, saith the Lord.
So they only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands. This is all they have done. All this time, I done brought them out of Egypt. They constantly and consistently and perpetually provoke me to anger. And you think I'm not going to do nothing? I'm going to do something to them. Go ahead, brother.
For this city hath been to me as a provocation of mine anger and of my fury from the day that they built it, even unto this day.
Say from the day they built Jerusalem, say, look, they have been a provocation. They have provoked me, even unto this day. When you keep on provoking somebody, it's just like when I was growing up, I got a nephew the same age as me. He was always prodding me and pushing me, you know, and I didn't like to fight. He was always doing something. He was a big dude, too. He'll provoke me. Then one day, I just got a blackjack, took care of my business. And somebody said, y'all family. I said, he been provoking me for years. And I kept on asking him, man, you better stop. You don't know what's in my mind. You better stop. He kept on doing it. I blackjacked him. He ain't do it no more. And we both been about to be 50 years old. Anyway, you can't be provoking God because, see, he got somewhere to put you that you can't get out of. What verse?
Middle 31.
Go ahead, brother. Start 31:0.
Yes, sir. For this city hath been to me as a provocation of mine anger and of my fury from the day that they built it, even until this day, that I should remove it from before my face.
He said, I'm going to remove it from before my face. He going to scatter the people. Go ahead.
Because of all the evil of the children of Israel and of the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophets.
Everybody, huh? The regular people and the people that are supposed to be holy and righteous. All of them. Go ahead.
And the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And they have turned unto me the back and not the face, though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them.
Said, look, they have turned their back to me. How you going to turn your back to God? If you turn your back to God, what you think he going to do? What you think his reaction going to be? What would you do if somebody turned their back to you? You would turn your back to them, wouldn't you? You'd be like, skip them. I don't need them. God don't need you. He don't need you. He told Moses, I could just take you, man, to make a nation out of you. Go ahead and read.
Though I have taught them, rising up early and teaching them.
Well, they knew better, but go ahead.
Yet they have not hearkened to receive instruction.
Go ahead and read.
But they set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to defile it.
So they're going to call it by the name of God, but they're going to set their abominations, they idols, they're going to set in his house to dishonor him, to disrespect him. Go ahead.
And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech.
See, look, all these pagan gods require human sacrifice, all of them. Because that's what Satan is about. He's about killing humans. He's about destroying humanity. All these pagan gods, no matter what name you put on them, they all Satan. They all Satan. Y'all see this right here? Let me show you something. Do I got an eraser? I need something. I'm going to use this. But I'm going to show you something. All this music that you listen to and all these videos you watch, what that look like? Satan telling you he sees everything. You carry it around in your pocket. You do whatever you got to do to get it. You worship it. And you say, I'm a go-getter. Because I'm going to get Satan. It's in your pocket, in your bank account, and all your idols, they put that symbol up in your face and say, hey, you got to be a part of this. But that's what it is. All this, it ain't nothing but Satan. All the pagan gods, it ain't nothing but Satan. And he is a murderer. And he intends to murder every last one of us. So we got to wake up and smell the real flavor. Satan ain't got no love for you. He wants you to be where he at. That's going to be the lake of fire. We finished that?
We're in the middle of 35.
35? Start 35 over and finish.
And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech, which I commanded them not, neither came into my mind, into my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. And now, therefore, thus saith the Lord.
That's good. That's good. But we know what he's going to do to them. We know what he has done to them. He has scattered them all over the world. They have been tortured and murdered. They have been molested and raped, males and females. If you look at the history of it, just because you was a man don't mean you didn't get raped. And right now, today, they got this thing with men wearing dresses now, supposed to be gangsters, gangsters with a dress on. But if you don't do that, they are instructed to shoot you down in the streets. But now if you're walking around with a dress on, then you're where you're supposed to be at. Okay, we know he cool. He bought into the system. Walk around without no dress on. You better look at these people who you idolize and worship. They some punks. And I mean that in the same sense that I meant it in 1983. They some punks. They some gumps. and they holler they gangster and they holler about thug life and they ain't seen no parts of it. No parts of it. And if it was 1983 and I caught up with them, we ain't even talk about that. Let's go into because we got to finish this up. Because I'm pretty sure that the DVD done ran out. Let's go into World Book Encyclopedia Volume 3. World Book Encyclopedia Volume 3. And I guarantee he's going to read this fast. World Book Encyclopedia Volume 3, page 413. We're going to read under Celebrating Christmas. Celebrating Christmas. Yeah.
The celebration of Christmas. Religious practices. For most Christians, the Christmas season begins on the Sunday nearest November 30th. This date is the feast day of St. Andrew, one of the 12 apostles of Christ. The nearest Sunday is the first day of event.
They always attributed some feast to somebody that didn't have no. The feast of Adam and Eve. They didn't have no feast. The feast of St. Andrew, he was an apostle of Christ. He didn't have no feast. Where they getting this stuff from? It's all attributed to their pagan gods. They just put a name on it that you would hold as holy to you. Go ahead and read, brother.
A 4-week period during which Christians prepare for Christmas. The word Advent means a coming and refers to the coming of Jesus on Christmas Day.
The coming. It refers to a coming, but not the coming of Jesus. But go ahead.
Many Christians have an Advent wreath in their homes during the holiday season. Most of these wreaths are made of evergreen or holly branches and may lie on a table or hang on a door. 4 candles one for each Sunday of Advent, are placed among the branches. On the first Sunday, the family lights one candle and joins in prayer.
So we already shown that where they had the candles at in this it represents the all-seeing eye horse. That's what the lights are for. But anyway, go ahead and read, brother.
They repeat this ceremony on each Sunday of Advent, lighting one additional candle each time. 3 of the candles are dark purple, and the 4th is pink or light purple.
So now, we already read what them colors about. Go ahead.
That's it.
That's it? You sure?
I'm gonna highlight it.
Okay. But that's how we get the lights on the tree and stuff too. Because remember, this ended up being this. Let's go into World Book Encyclopedia volume 17. World Book Encyclopedia, volume 17. We're going to read page 102 and 103. This is under Santa Claus. Page 102 and 103. Because we get to know what we're doing now. Because ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance will get you killed. There was a male person, I should say, that went into these people's yard over North Minneapolis over here, didn't know that the dogs was loose. They had like 2 or 3 pit bulls. Didn't know. Y'all saw it on the news. He ain't had no fingers left, hardly had any toes. They ate the man. He survived, but if he had known them dogs was loose, he wouldn't have went inside that gate. So we got to know what we're doing. This is World Book Encyclopedia, volume 17, page 102 and 103 under Santa Claus. Go ahead and read, brother.
Santa Claus. The idea of Santa Claus developed from stories about a real person named St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas, a real person.
Historians know little for certain about St. Nicholas. He probably was born in Patara in what is now Turkey when he was 19 years old. Nicholas became a priest. He later served as Bishop of Myra.
He became a priest at 19? The law of the priesthood, you can't be a priest until you're 30 years old. He was out of pocket. Go ahead and read.
He later served as Bishop of Myra near Patara, and he died during the AD 300s.
Go ahead. That's around what's that guy's name? Constantine. That's around Constantine time. Go ahead.
How the Santa Claus legend began. The custom of giving gifts on a special day in winter was practiced before Christianity was founded.
So this ain't got nothing to do with Jesus then. So how they gonna call it Jesus' birthday if it was around before he was even born? Go ahead.
After Christianity was well established, St. Nicholas became a symbol of the custom among Christians. During the Reformation of the 1500s, Protestants substituted non-religious characters for St. Nicholas.
Non-religious character. Y'all see this picture right here? A non-religious character. This is if you say it the way in their language, it's Santa Claus. This the guy right here. This outfit predates this outfit, which this outfit turns into this outfit, which y'all can't see him? It ain't for y'all anyway. Can the cameraman, you got it? I'm gonna hold it up right here. Skip it. Y'all asked for too much. I said this wasn't for y'all, didn't I? No. This guy ain't dead. This the one that just retired. We talking about this guy right here. This is like 500 years ago. What you talking about? But this guy right here, this is the original of this guy. But anyway, go ahead and read, brother.
Protestants substituted non-religious characters for St. Nicholas. In England, for example, the saint was replaced by a gentleman called Father Christmas.
Father Christmas. You know what? Father Christmas and Father Time and all that stuff, those are names that they gave to their pagan gods just to fool you. Like Father Time, that's Kronos. I think that's a Norse god. Kronos, that's a pagan god. Go ahead and read.
This character was called Pierre Noël in France, and Weihnachtsmann in Germany. The people of the Netherlands were especially fond of St. Nicholas. The first Dutch settlers who came to America had a figure of St. Nicholas on the front of their ship.
On the front of their ships, they had a figure of St. Nicholas.
The Dutch settlers maintained their custom. The Dutch settlers maintained their customs of celebrating the saint's feast day on December 6th. They told their children that the saint visited their homes and left gifts for the youngsters on St. Nicholas Eve.
St. Nicholas Eve. But look, they told this to their children. These Dutch people, the Dutch settlers, told it to their children. A lie. Go ahead.
In time, English settlers adopted the legends and festivities associated with St. Nicholas. English-speaking children spoke the Dutch name for the saint, Sinterklaas, quickly and excitedly so that it sounded like Santa Claus or Santa Claus.
So that's how we came to pronounce it that way, but it's Santa Claus. K-L-A-A-S. Yeah. I'm not Dutch, so I can't pronounce it like that. Go ahead.
Eventually, Santa Claus became the most commonly used name.
So that's where we got this guy from. From here, actually, and this is one of their vestments. This is one of their official garments. But this is what this came from. But we don't know that. See, we think it's cool. Red, my favorite color, you know. But this guy right here, that last pope, that dude was wacky. He was putting everything on Front Street. That's it on that? Okay. Let's go into 1 John, the 3rd chapter. But first, it is something I wanted to read in here, though. Where that paper is? It's this one. This one right here. This is about this thing called Centenalia. Because this day that we're about to get into, well, we're not about to get into, but the world is. They call it Christmas, but it's actually Centenalia, or Saturnalia, I should say. Saturnalia. It's the worship of Saturn, the planet. It's a god to these people. This ain't it. Where's it at? It's not that one either. Here it is. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. I just want to just read a little bit of what this day, some of the stuff. I still didn't put the stuff about what they was doing to the kids in it, but this is some of it. This is Saturnalia. Go ahead. Just what I got highlighted.
An ancient Roman festival celebrated in December, renowned for its general merrymaking. Saturnalia. Licentious adjective. One.
So this Saturnalia, it's about licentiousness, right? Licentiousness is an adjective or describing Saturnalia. Go ahead.
1. Sexually unrestrained, lasciviousness, libertine, lewd.
So that's what licentious means. So this is what they do on Saturnalia. They sexually unrestrained. That means they can do anything to anybody. Go ahead.
2. Unrestrained by law or general morality. Lawless, immoral.
So they're immoral. They have no morals. They don't have to celebrate. They don't have to abide by any laws. That's why we're going to read about during this time of year, why they close the schools and stuff, because it's Saturnalia. Go ahead.
3. Going beyond customary or proper bounds or limits.
No boundaries. Go ahead.
Disregarding rules. December 17th, feast honoring Saturn.
Go ahead.
Roman mythology.
Roman mythology, but they worshiping Saturn. It's a feast worshiping Saturn. And they get off into all kind of stuff on that day. But it's not just that day. Go ahead and read.
Another one. See debauchery.
See debauchery. You know what debauchery is? Read it.
1. Excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures.
Sensual pleasures, earthly pleasures.
Intemperance.
They have no boundaries. Say intemperance. You know what intemperance means? It's the opposite of temperance. Temperance means self-control. Intemperance means you don't have to control yourself. You can do whatever you want to do. So if there's any child molesters running around, ain't no law against it during this time of year. If there are any murderers are running around, ain't no law against it during this time of year. Anything else goes. That's what this thing is about. Go ahead and read.
2. Archaic seduction from duty.
Seduction, the word is archaic, meaning
Archaic.
The old meaning of it is seduction from duty. Go ahead.
Allegiance. Or virtue.
Or virtue, which is righteousness and holiness. Seduction. This is what Satan did in the Garden of Eden. He persuaded Eve. He coaxed her into leaving her virtue. He persuaded her into leaving her allegiance to God. He persuaded her to get off into something that was going to lead to death. Go ahead and read.
Saturnalia, December 17th through 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
This ancient Roman winter solstice festival began on December 17th and lasted for 7 days. It was held in honor of Saturn, the father of the gods, and was characterized by the suspension of discipline and reversal of the usual order. Grudges and quarrels were forgotten. Businesses, courts, and schools closed down.
If the courts closed, that means, ain't no law. Go ahead.
Wars were interrupted or postponed. Slaves were served by their masters, and masquerading or change of dress between the sexes often occurred.
Cross-dressing. That's what that is. Cross-dressing, and they wearing masks so you don't know who it is. Go ahead.
It was traditional to offer gifts of imitation fruit, a symbol of fertility, dolls, symbolic of the custom of human sacrifice.
That's what these dolls, why you think that somebody always giving their daughter a doll on Christmas? It is a symbol of human sacrifice. So not only is it about sexual abandon, not only is it about human sacrifice and child molestation, it's about having no rules, no boundaries, no laws. It's about serving Satan. That's what it's about. Go ahead and read.
And candles.
Candles.
Reminiscent of the bonfires traditionally associated with pagan solstice celebrations.
Pagan solstice celebration. And that's what this Christmas is. It's a celebration of the winter solstice. You finish what's highlighted?
Households would select a mock king to preside over the festivities, which were characterized by various kinds of excesses, giving rise to the modern use of the term Saturnalian, meaning a period of unrestrained license and revelry.
And revelry, partying, unrestrained. Just imagine if we was unrestrained in here. If there was nothing to hold, if there was no boundaries, what would be happening if there was no boundaries? we could do whatever came into our mind, and it would be legal to do it. So they set aside a whole different places to tell you different things, but you got it's a 30-day celebration, it's a 7-day celebration, it's a 12-day celebration. We didn't read all of it. It's a 12-day celebration. This thing go from actually Thanksgiving all the way to January 7th or something like that. That's how long this thing is. And it's about not having any boundaries. It's about serving these pagan gods who say you can do whatever it is you want to do as long as you pay homage to me. That's what Satan told Jesus. He said, look, I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world. All you got to do is bow down and serve me. You can have whatever you want. And that's what people have chosen to do, is to have whatever they want instead of choosing everlasting life. But that's good. Let's get back to the book so we can finish up. Now we in 1 John, the 3rd chapter. And pick it up at verse 2. 1 John 3 and 2. Go ahead and read it, brother.
That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers.
Scoffers, they're going to be making fun. That's what a scoffer is, somebody that makes fun of something. Go ahead.
Walking after their own lusts.
Walking after their own lust.
Lusts.
They have no boundaries. Go ahead.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming?
Say, look, they don't believe in Jesus no more. They went back to serving the sun god.
1 John 3. This 1 John. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're right. 1 John 3.
And I wasn't paying no attention because it show went with it, right?
Sorry, y'all.
I ain't even read it.
That was 2 Peter. I'm sorry. 1 John 3 and 2.
Well, we might as well finish reading 2 Peter, though.
That was 2 Peter. Yeah, that was some point. 2 Peter, yo.
Go ahead and finish reading that, man. Hey, look. They just got to edit it in, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
This is why they don't have no boundaries, because they say, look, Jesus ain't came again yet. So everything continues as it was since the fathers fell asleep. Where's his coming at? He ain't coming. So then they go back to serving the sun god. They go back to serving all they pagan gods because they don't believe in God no more. Because instead of them reading what's written, they listen to their pastors. They listen to their ministers. They listen to their spiritual fathers. These flesh and blood spiritual fathers I'm talking about. Which tell them, you know, God will forgive whatever you do as long as you ask for it. Somebody was in here and said that to me. God will forgive whatever you do. I looked at her like, so you mean to tell me somebody raped you and you cool with that? Well, no. But God going to forgive them. That means you got to forgive them too. Well, that was the end of that conversation. But anyway, let's go on to 1 John, the 3rd chapter.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be. That was good, man.
No
1 John, chapter 3. In verse 2. All right, they get it.
Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. Mm-hmm. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is.
So we're going to be like him because we're going to see him as he is. That means we're going to be God too. Go ahead.
And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself.
Wait a minute. If you have the hope of being God, you got to purify yourself? What about this Sunday doctrine where you can come to God as you are? You got to purify yourself if you have the hope of becoming a child of God. Go ahead and read.
Even as he is pure.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
So now, if sin is transgression of the law, you can't be no sinner if there's no law, right? So then, if there's no law and you can't be a sinner, then there's no reason for you to be going to church. Because you can come to God as you are. You don't need no preacher or no pastor, no minister, nothing like that, no evangelist. You don't need none of that stuff. Because you can come to God as you are because there is no law. There's no boundaries, right? But sin is breaking the law. And there is a law. Go ahead and read.
5. And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin.
Go ahead.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not.
Whosoever make their abode with him, and he and the Father make their abode with them, he don't sin. Not willfully. Go ahead.
Whosoever sinneth hath not seen him, neither known him.
So if you're a sinner, you don't know Jesus. You're just lying. Always so much you know Jesus and you blessed and highly favored, but you're going to commit sin. You're going to break the Sabbath. You're going to eat pork. You're going to hate your brother and your sister, but you know Jesus. No, you don't. Go ahead and read.
7. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous.
Go ahead.
He that committeth sin is of the devil.
Now, if you commit sin, that means break the law. You are of Satan the devil. Go ahead.
For the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
That he might destroy the works of the devil. He was brought into this world. That he might destroy the works of the devil. That's why he had to come forth. That's why he had to come in the flesh, to destroy the works of the devil. Because sin, by man came sin, so by man the redemption of sin had to come. So if you are a sinner, then you ain't nothing but a child of Satan. But if you're a legalist, you're a child of God. Let's continue. Let's go into Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Ephesians chapter 6. We almost done. Actually, we got 2 places after this. We're going to start reading at verse 1. That's Ephesians 5, right? Mm-hmm. Ephesians 5. I know what I said. Ephesians, the 5th chapter, in verse 1. Just turn your 6 into a 5. You've been doing 11-pointer. You know how to do it. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. Ephesians 5 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Be ye therefore followers of God, as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also have loved us.
Say walk in love. We know love is keeping the law. He said, so walk in love. So walk in the law. Go ahead.
And hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling savor.
So now, this is the offering and sacrifice to God. This is the only one that matters. Because if you sacrifice an offering to any other God, you in some big-time trouble that you ain't going to be able to get out of. Go ahead and read.
But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becoming saints.
See, now, if you're a saint, if you sanctified, if you separated, all this stuff that they do when they serving their pagan gods, you can't do. You can't eat their feast. You can't get off into their debauchery. You can't do none of that stuff. Because you're supposed to be separated from that. Go ahead.
4. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient.
So you can't be kissing nobody under the mistletoe and singing old Yuletide carols. You got to find out what that Yuletide stuff is too, because that's written. Go ahead.
But rather giving of thanks. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man,
nor lustful man. That's what covetous is. Go ahead.
Who is an idolater,
who worships trees and stuff,
hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ
so
and of God.
So if you're worshiping trees and all this other stuff, you don't have any inheritance. Inheritance means something that you're going to inherit, something that's going to belong to you. The kingdom of God don't belong to you if you're worshiping trees and all this other stuff. Bunnies that lay eggs and all other kind of foolishness. You don't have no inheritance in the kingdom of God. Did we finish that?
We had 6.
Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
Because of these things, all this paganism, comes the wrath of God upon the children that disobey his commandments. Go ahead and read.
Be not ye therefore partakers with them.
So now, you can't be no partaker with these people. I don't care how much you love your mama, or how close you and your sister are, or how your nephew idolizes you. If they are partaking in these things, then you can't take part with them in it. God forbid. But let's go. You finished that, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go into Jeremiah, 10th chapter again. And then we got one place after that. I know I said something else, but we're going to Jeremiah 10 again. And we're going to pick up where we left off. Jeremiah 10 and verse 6. Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, and verse 6. We left off at verse 5, so we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Go ahead and read.
For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doth it appertain.
Say, it belongs to you. That's what appertain means. It belongs to you. So who is not smart enough to fear you? Go ahead.
For as much as among all the wise men of the nations, and in all their kingdoms, there is none like unto thee. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. Silver spread into places brought from Tarshish, and gold from Euphaz, the work of the workman and of the hands of the founder.
Go ahead.
Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men.
They are all the work of cunning men. They're not just cunning in making this stuff. They cunning in the meaning and the intent of it. Go ahead.
But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and an everlasting King.
He is the living God, everlasting King. You can't cut him out no forest. You can't kill the true and living God. You can't carry him around. And he can speak. He can curse or bless. Go ahead.
At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation.
Indignation, that's anger and fury. The nation shall not be able to abide it. Go ahead.
11. Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth.
See, all these pagan gods y'all serving, God said he gonna make them to perish from the earth. You see what he did to the gods of Egypt, right? He gonna do it to the gods of the whole world. Go ahead.
And from under these heavens he hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heavens by his discretion.
Go ahead.
When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth.
So there's a multitude of waters in the heavens, because when he created the earth and he made that firmament, he divided the water that's above the firmament from the water that's below the firmament. He says the multitude of water in the heavens. He just confirmed his word that he gave you in Genesis, the 1st chapter. Go ahead and read.
He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish in his knowledge.
See, every man is brutish in his knowledge. They want to take it these days that they're smarter than God, that God didn't understand. But every man is brutish in his knowledge. That means he thinks like an animal. Go ahead.
Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them.
Say, there's no breath in them. You cut this tree down, it ain't breathing. No. Trees breathe, but once you cut them out the ground, they stop breathing. It's dead. I don't care how long it stay green, it's dead. Go ahead, what verse?
15. They are vanity, and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish.
See, look at the time they visit, say, this is when he returned with indignation. Say, all these pagan gods are going to perish. You're not going to be able to give no gifts to your dead tree no more. You're not going to be able to go in that harlot house and bow down and worship the image of some woman that they laid with her own child. You ain't going to be able to do that stuff no more. But let's go to the last place. Let's go into Psalms 37. 16? Mm-hmm. Well, read 16, then we go to Psalms 37. Go ahead.
The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
So that's the portion of Jacob. That's the portion of those that sanctify themselves from all this stuff. So they're going to inherit Jesus. But in case there's somebody that feel lonely this time of year, and they don't know what to do with themselves, I just like to read a little something. Because a little something, because somebody had told me one day, I just feel so alone and during this time of year, and I don't know, I want to be with my family and blah, 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 blah. That's what it sounded like to me. Wah, 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 wah. That's what it sounded like to me. I mean, I heard them, but I wasn't listening. And when they got done talking, I was like, what? I was like, you better just go and deal with what you got to deal with. But I read this to them. Psalms 37:1. Go ahead and read.
Fret not thyself because of evildoers.
He said, fret not. Don't trouble yourself because of the evildoers. Go ahead.
Neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity.
Say, look, they ain't really having fun. You think they're having fun, but they not. Look at what they got to sacrifice. Look at how much of themselves they got to sacrifice in order to be a part of that stuff, just for a few dollars more. But as Robert Townsend said, it's always work at the post office. You don't have to be no homosexual to work at the post office. You don't have to give up your manhood or your womanhood to work at the post office or to drive the bus. Go ahead. Or to be a school teacher. Go ahead and read.
For they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb.
Say, look, they're gonna soon be cut down. Grass only lasts for the summer. Then it die. The green herb only lasts for a moment. Then winter coming, it all die. Go ahead.
Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed.
He said, look, truly I will feed you. Trust in me, and truly you will be fed. Go ahead and read.
Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
So you're supposed to delight yourself in the Lord? Not in these pagan gods, but delight yourself in the Lord. Go ahead.
Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light.
So he's going to bring forth your righteousness as the light. Look, this is going to be on the internet. I'm telling you. And people are going to see it, and it's going to enlighten them. All we got to do is stay the course. Keep on doing what we're doing. Keep on being children of God. We have the power to become the children of God. Let's keep that power.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him.
So you got to wait patiently for the Lord. See, I don't feel lonely during this time of the year. And I ain't sad about it. I ain't did this thing since I was like 9, 10 years old anyway. But even then, when I separated myself from it, I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel alone. I felt like I was exceptional. I felt like I was the elite because I knew better. So why would I be lonely? I want to be amongst the people that's going to die? I don't think so. I plan on living forever. And I keep telling people that. I ain't going to ever die. I have no intent on dying. What verse we at?
Middle of 7.
Start 7 over.
Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fright not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fright not thyself in any wise to do evil.
He said, fret not thyself to do any evil. He said, don't fret yourself because of evildoers, because they bring wicked devices to pass, because it looked like they're having all this fun, right? It looked like they're having this great celebration. It looks like they had the best life there is, right? Because everybody want to live now. Because the old saying is tomorrow ain't promised to you. If you work towards it, you just might get it. What about that King Hezekiah? When the Lord told Isaiah to tell him he was going to die. He prayed to the Lord with tears, and the Lord added to him 15 more years. Which one of us could do that? 15 more years. And I myself ain't going to never die. So, yeah, if you serve God, if you delight to do his will, you ain't got to worry about what these evil people doing. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to feel lonely this time of the year because you are amongst the elite, or I should say, as the Bible say, the very elect. Yes. You sanctified. Thank you for your time.